Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are. I just released a video just now on Tom Nash on inflation. He made a video a few months ago on inflation. I just came across it and I was like, oh my God, this is such disinformation. And it's shocking how inaccurate Tom is on the video. Let me go ahead and show you here. Once again, just released the video. So have a look, fresh off the press. And so I saw this video popped up, just released, March 10th, 2022, today's date. So I decided to go ahead and take a look and follow up on what Tom has to say about inflation. And once again, I urge you to take a look at the other video so you can have an idea how clueless Tom is about inflation and just about everything else. So let's take a look at the headline here. And it's important to note the date. And I'm going to be showing the date, if I remember to do so, when I show Tom's videos in the future, because Tom has hidden and or deleted, I don't know which one, probably deleted hundreds of previous videos. And he's trying to closely or slowly mold himself into something that he's not and something that he did not begin with on his channel. Remember, Tom began quote unquote exposing the obvious frauds, obvious guys, and stupid things. But now, if you look at his channel, almost everything is on the stock market. I've already gone over Tom's history, his past. He's an internet marketer. That's what he does. I don't think he's worked as an analyst, any type of analyst at any capacity, but certainly his claims of having worked for more than a decade as a senior analyst on Wall Street is not true. Tom, I'll give you $10,000 if you can prove that to me. Based upon the garbage that comes out of Tom's mouth, the disinformation, the terrible analysis, I believe that Tom didn't even go to undergraduate business school. And if he did, he went to a shady school, and he should even still, he should request a refund. One more thing I might mention is that I've also heard Tom mention in the past, I believe it was in the video that he removed, he posted a couple of years ago, the one that I remember him talking about how he was a senior analyst at a top 4 Wall Street firm. He also mentioned that he had a law degree. And I saw another video today, him wearing a Michigan law shirt. But you don't hear him talk about that anymore. Why is that? You see, Tom is slowly, quietly erasing his history. He's rewriting what he's previously posted. And this is why he's slowly removing videos, such as the video that I point out on my channel that he removed after I commented on it, that he's completely clueless about PE ratios not mattering. Ask anyone on Wall Street, they'll tell you he claims PE ratios don't matter. Anyone who points out PE ratios as an important metric, according to Tom, is a clown. And everyone on Wall Street will tell you that, according to Tom. Well, guess what? I'm a Wall Street guy, Tom. You're wrong. You're a liar. You're a con man. You're a fraud. And you're an investment danger. Just like meet Kevin, another investment danger. I'm going to get to Kevin in the future, and I'm going to learn more about the details of Kevin. But what I've come to understand recently is that Kevin recommends the use of margin. He recommends people sell puts. This is absolutely the riskiest things you can do. There's only one thing riskier, and that's shorting stocks. And these moves are extremely risky during this period. Meet Kevin is a disaster, just like Tom Nash, just like all these guys, these clowns on YouTube, giving investment advice, generating an income, whether it's through selling advertisements, selling affiliate links, and almost nobody posts the affiliate disclosure, which is once again breaking federal law. That's right. And selling their courses, selling their Discord, their Patreon for their newsletters, all a bunch of criminal scumbags as far as I'm concerned. Certainly, no doubt, scam artists, without a doubt. Unqualified, to do this. And let me just go ahead and mention, I'm going to start mentioning this in the future videos. If you have lost money as a result of listening to any of these people, Tom Nash, Meet Kevin, and especially if you have paid them money, email me and let me know, please. Okay? So let's listen to what Tom has to say. Of course, he wants an excuse to talk about Palantir. Palantir rally. Well, let's look at the rally. Okay, here's the Palantir rally. The Palantir rally. Wow. Looks like a strong rally if you're short. Let's take a look at it. So I guess this is the rally Tom's talking about. Like it went up 20 cents or from the very bottom when the market just recently sold off big time the other day. It went up a few cents. Is this the rally? I mean, seriously? This is a problem there, folks. You're listening to disinformation like that. You got a problem if you're still listening to this clown. And I'll go ahead and mention, by the way, I'm going to be covering many more of Tom's videos. I ran across this one, just listened to a little bit of it, and he has some guy on, some clown, some like he's not an analyst. He's like Tom. He's not an analyst. Just some guy who likes the stock. And I'll just go ahead and show you here.
Their product and the technology?
Yeah, so before I do that, I'll talk about the disease.
Okay.
So the disease that they're diagnosing.
And if you listen to this guy, he doesn't even really understand the area that the stock he's pumping. He doesn't have a background in the biomedical sciences, medicine, healthcare, health disease. Obviously, you can tell by the way he talks about these things. And him, along with Tom, they're pushing this stock 40% upside. You can see November 4th, 2021. Take a look at the chart. Take a look at the chart. And November 4th, here we go. And basically they're saying, hey, this is a great opportunity. Tom's saying, people missed a great chance because they don't have the balls. And, or they haven't done the fundamental analysis. They haven't looked into the stock. Well, that's why we're relying on you. So he's basically saying in so many words, listen to this guy. He's basically, in so many words, advising people buy this stock. And it's a complete shitstorm. And you can see it's collapsed since that time by, 60% or so, maybe more, 65%. And I took a quick look at it, about a 60-second look. It doesn't look good. And of course, you read the comments. Well, let me show you another stock that they start talking about. Tom's talking about, yeah, I think I like it. And this guy's also pushing the same stock, Senseonics Holdings. And I looked at this one as well briefly. You can see here, right? I think it may have been a SPAC too. I'm not sure. But another epic collapse, about the same amount, maybe down a little more, close to 70%. You can do the math. And I apologize. I was going to do the inflation. I'm going to get to the inflation, but video with Tom. I just wanted to point this out briefly in case I forget in the future, don't have a chance. I'm just briefly going over some of these things that are important to cover. Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain something to you. These two companies, this Senseonics Holdings and Semir Scientific, they're both in the medical realm. Semir is for something with some type of a diagnostic test, I suppose, for a certain type of cardiovascular disease. I mean, this guy that talks about it doesn't even know. He says, I think it's like they call it atherosclerosis. If you don't understand the whole pathophysiology behind atherosclerosis and cardiovascular disease, you need to just go to a financial advisor, really. The other company is blood glucose monitoring, which is nothing of a big deal. Now, let me just go ahead and tell folks this, because people get caught into this trap, especially during this period of Cathie Wood disruptive innovation and all this garbage. Ladies and gentlemen, just because you're learning something about a technology, you think that's a good stock, a good investment? Do you know anything about the space at all? My point is that you have to have an expertise when you're talking about these areas. If you just come across a technology, that doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. I mean, do you even know that there are several major companies that have innovative blood glucose monitoring? You know, this company is nothing. They're not, I don't see anything here but a collapsing stock. This one could even be worse because I don't see anything there promising that's not already out on the market. The other one, maybe it's got something, but why would you mess with this stock here? When, I mean, this is early November when things are, you know, we're getting ready to hit 2022 and 2023 after that. You know, interest rates are going up. That means PE ratio is going to contract. You're going to have a contraction in the multiples, right? High valuation stocks like this, newer companies like this, they're just not going to do well, right? They're not going to do well in this environment. So why would you even mess with it? That's another issue, of course, Tom Nash never talks about. You would think if he's really a seasoned analyst, really experienced, he would talk about, you know, you just can't focus on a company. You have to also consider what's going on in the investment environment, inflation, interest rates. These things impact valuations, folks. You got to understand that. You know. But anyway, I wanted to mention these because I ran across them quickly, and I'm sure I will cover them in the future. Let's just go over now the inflation, recent inflation video that Nash made here. See what we come up with.
Hey, this is Tom Nash, and I'm going to be here with you for the next 5 minutes making sense of this crazy market. Don't click nothing, don't smash nothing, and mainly, don't buy nothing.
Oh, okay. Don't click nothing. Don't smash nothing, and don't buy nothing. Tom, why are you asking people to join a membership, a paid membership? You're asking them to buy, to give you money. Tom, why are you asking people to join your e-begging Patreon, where you're selling your stupid, useless newsletter and access to your completely useless, bogus investment analysis? Tom, why are you pitching affiliate links and you're not disclosing? You don't have an affiliate disclosure. You're breaking federal law. You're breaking Federal Trade Commission law. That's right. Tom, if you're telling people not to click anything or buy anything, why are you posting affiliate links? You're a huge, disgusting hypocrite, in addition to complete clown and con artist. I mean, and once again, Tom, if you can prove to me that you are a decade-plus senior analyst on Wall Street, okay, I'll give you $10,000. I'll give you $10,000. You can email me. Let's go, Tom. Tom will he'll never contact me on that because he knows he can't fool an ex. He knows I'm a top pro. That's why he removed that other video that I've already done a video on, where he talks about how nobody credible focuses on or talks about PE ratios. And he said if you ask anybody on Wall Street, they'll tell you you can spot a clown if they mention PE ratios. Absolutely, completely, 100% untrue. It's disinformation. I'm a Wall Street guy, and I'm telling you, Tom Nash is a complete fraud. He's a complete fraud. Let me repeat, Tom Nash is a fraud. So many things he said, which are absolutely 100% not true. There's no way this guy worked in a professional capacity, a senior analyst on Wall Street. I don't even think he has a legitimate degree in business. If he does, he barely passed, and he doesn't have anything beyond an undergrad degree. And I would, if I were him, try and get a refund, because I know many more people who know much more about economics, finance, and investments that don't have an undergrad degree even in business. This guy is complete disinformation. So let's go ahead and listen to him now that he's trying to show you that he doesn't want you to click anything or buy anything. Oh, really, Tom? Yeah. Complete comment. One more thing let me mention, by the way, I just noticed some of his previous videos before the Russia invasion took place. Did you notice he had these pictures in the background of Putin? And now he's got an American flag. By the way, Tom Nash is in Tel Aviv, folks. He's in Israel. He's in Israel. This guy is a Russian, he's a Jewish Russian guy living in Israel. And that's why he beds down with Tip Ranks, which is based in Israel, Benzinga, which is funded by Israel, and Seeking Alpha, which is based in Israel. FYI, just thought you'd want to know that. But you see, he's showing you the American flag. No, Tom, you're a Russian. You're part of the bad people, the bad guys. Russia's going out and invading innocent people. You're a Russian. Nobody ever really likes Russians. And I could see why they wouldn't have any reason, or they would have no reason to like you, because you're a scammer. You're a scam artist. Let's go ahead and listen to this.
Let's get this thing started.
Yeah, okay, great. The Tom Nash Show. He's got a show. Wow, look, the tickers. He must be connected to the market. He must be, oh, wow, and the
As
bell.
expected, it's 7.9% for year-over-year inflation, following 7.5 that could get revised. 7.9. We go to the Wayback
See if we
Machine
can
to
find
find a
something
higher
here.
level of inflation.
Okay, shut up,
You're looking at
blabbermouth. This guy's a clown.
8.4% in June of 82 is your comp.
Okay, so let's start with inflation. Yo, inflation is still here. Yeah, even though we talked about Ukraine for the past week, much like that uncle that comes for 2 days and stays for 2 months, inflation never left. For the past 2 weeks,
Like, why would he even mention that? Inflation never left. Inflation's going higher, Tom. It's going considerably higher. Why would you even say this? Maybe Tom's in touch with his audience. And his audience apparently is a bunch of morons. Let's take a look at the comments. Yeah, Tom, great analysis. Yeah, oh, wow, you cleared it up for me. You know, the typical cult member, stupid responses. I liked your video because you're straightforward and don't ask for likes. You give good information for people to think for themselves. What? He doesn't ask for likes? Oh, okay. He tells you not to smash anything, not to buy anything, not to click anything. And he has Patreon, membership, affiliate links. I mean, how stupid are these people? And they don't even check into anything he says at all.
we've been covering Ukraine, and rightfully so, but inflation is still here. And
why would it be gone, Tom? It's going higher, you bimbo. I mean, what? His audience must be 8-year-olds. That has to be it.
a better way to get reminded of another CPI cycle numbers. And the CPI is going to come out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time today. And according to all expectations, we're looking about, 7.8, 7.9%, which is, incidentally, it's going to be a new 40-year high. Unbelievable. But, look, it's not going to include any of the oil prices, any of the commodities craze. I mean, that comes later. It doesn't really get included in the CPI.
What? What? Did you hear that, folks? Now, folks, I've produced so many reasons why that prove that Tom was never a legitimate analyst, was never a Wall Street analyst, certainly not a senior analyst. And I just don't even see how he could have an MBA. Right? I've produced so many reasons to prove this. And of course, Tom refuses my offer to give him $10,000 to prove it. Why might that be? Think about it. And we just heard another reason why to prove that Tom is 100% clueless. This is a guy who apparently knows much less than the average moron on the street. Main Street. The average investor probably knows that this number, the CPI, is the headline number. This includes food and energy. That's right, Tom. He's just saying that this number that they're talking about is not going to include food and energy. The headline number is the number that's always reported first, and always the number that is focused on. How a person can't know this? This is weird. Remember, Tom's supposed to be a professional.
Craze, and that comes later. It doesn't really question. Look, it's not going to include any of the oil prices,
What?
any of the commodities craze.
What?
And that comes later.
Folks, this is absolute. I can't even believe. Honestly, I didn't think Tom was this stupid, this clueless. He's continuing to lower the bar of his own ignorance and stupidity. Remember, folks, this is a guy who tells you he's a professional analyst. He comes out with all these analyses. He's completely wrong. This guy is a danger, absolute danger. And you'll notice I'm the only person calling him out. What's up with that? What's up with that? Either one of two things. Either everybody else is too stupid to realize this, and I think there's a combination of both, or they don't, they're all in the same game. They don't want to expose him too much because they know that they're scammers as well. I think it's a combination of both, to be honest with you. And of course, Tom is in that little circle, the circle jerk with Meet Kevin, another scam artist, Graham Stephan, Scam Stephan, Mr. Clickbait, Scam Stephan, who's actually not only posting affiliate links without an affiliate disclosure, breaking federal law, Meet Kevin as well, but also actually Meet Kevin and Graham Stephan are actually endorsing. They're going on full endorsements without even any disclosure. They don't even understand. I'm letting them know. I'm warning them. I'm giving them a friendly warning that if the Federal Trade Commission finds out, they can be sued and fined big time money. I'm trying to help these guys. I mean, I'm not contacting them. I'm just helping them. And I guess they don't want to listen, And also in that little crowd, you've got the CoffeeZilla and then Patrick Boyle. You've got this circle, this Jeremy, and this is a circle jerk is what it is, a circle jerk. And all these other guys that pretend to expose them, they're just looking for views. They're not exposing nothing. They put their names in the title. They got a small channel. They want to get bigger, and they want to sell their affiliate links to the same thing. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, always ask yourself the question. When you're listening to someone, ask yourself to think about what qualifies an individual to be speaking about something. How is somebody qualified? And this is what particularly upsets me about Tom Nash, because he's tried to answer that question for the sheep, the dummies that have fallen for his scam. He came out and said, hey, I'm a former Wall Street analyst, senior analyst, 10 plus years. That's why you should listen to me. I'm an expert. I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you that, right? He didn't say that in so many words, but that's what his message was. Now, Meet Kevin hasn't been so bad about that. But he's made up for it with other scams. But even Meet Kevin now is calling himself a financial analyst. Kevin, you're not a financial analyst, okay? You're as much of a financial analyst as I am an engineer. I'm not an engineer. You're not a financial analyst, Kevin. Okay? You're not. You're lying. Now, you have other little mechanisms. Graham Stephan came out with his little pitch how he was successful, and he did all this and looking at my money and this. So they all have their little ways that they're manipulating people. But Tom Nash, more so than anyone, came out and directly pulled this scam. And what he is doing is a big problem. Okay? What he's doing, if I am correct, and I have no reason to believe that I'm not, especially since he won't even address me on this for $10,000, what he's doing is highly illegal. That's right. Highly illegal. I guess he feels safe in the comfort of residing in Israel. And you all know, of course, a lot of the criminals, they run off to Israel because there's no extradition treaty. And you all might remember, of course, Jeffrey Epstein had his Israeli passport ready to go, and they took it away, and that's one reason why they put him in jail. They considered him a flea risk. So I guess Tom figures he can just do whatever he wants, sitting in Israel, and you can't touch him.
It doesn't really get included in the CPI. So the real question...
Did you hear that? Food and energy doesn't get included in the CPI. Tom, let me give you a little lesson here. And I hate to expose Tom so much because I'm actually teaching him to be competent. He watches all these videos, guaranteed. Bet you any money. Hi Tom. Contact me. Email. You see it there. No, he won't do it. He'll just pretend like I don't exist. Folks, pass the videos around. Okay? He'll be pressured to discuss this at some point. Tom, let me give you a lesson here. When you hear about the CPI reported, that's known as the headline. Inflation. That's the normal CPI. It includes food and energy. Okay? The number that came out, I believe it was maybe 7.9%. That's food and energy. The core CPI, which you're talking about, which does not include food and energy, is lower. And I'll show people that here in a second. And by the way, I came across another video when Tom was talking about inflation. He actually claimed that inflation doesn't include energy, food, housing, real estate, and the stock market. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? First of all, Tom, the stock market has no bearing on inflation. Second of all, housing costs are included in the headline and the core inflation. I think he said it wasn't included. I mean, you can't make these mistakes, folks. If even an undergrad business major or graduate would not make these mistakes. This is shocking. In fact, let's go ahead and take a look at this video. Let me find it here. See if I can find it. Here we have it, folks. I found it. Take note of this video because Tom is probably going to erase it. Now that I'm posting the video name and the date, he might not hide it or erase it because he did before another video which I exposed. But take a look here. Listen to what he says.
This term CPI, which is a consumer price index, is the way the government measures inflation. I'm sure some of you heard about core inflation. Core inflation and CPI is essentially the same thing.
Wrong. You hear that? He said core inflation and CPI is the same thing. What? What an idiot. When you hear the term CPI, that's not core. How can he make this mistake? This is just shocking to me. Most of you probably don't even understand how crazy, how ridiculous for him it is to make this error. That's the problem with you all.
And by definition, this is already a bullshit way to measure inflation because it doesn't include food or energy or housing, the real estate market, stock market, so pretty much anything that...
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Core inflation, according to Tom Nash says core inflation. So first of all, he thinks that core inflation is the CPI. When you hear the CPI, he says that means core. That's not true. I mean, this guy, folks, if you didn't know before, all the videos that I've exposed him in, and back to the person on Reddit who basically said this guy's an internet marketer, and he kind of picked up some terms and learned some things. This is what I believe. I think that person is absolutely correct. Hats off to whoever that person is. Tom is saying that CPI is the same as core inflation. That's absolutely not true. And no one who's ever worked as an analyst or in the investment world, or I can't imagine anyone even with an undergraduate business degree, would make this mistake. It's just shocking to me. He's saying that the CPI is the core inflation. No, Tom, it's not. When you hear a report of the inflation numbers of the CPI, that's not core inflation. Okay? And then the next mistake he made, as you'll hear again, he said the core inflation doesn't include food and energy. That's correct. He also said it doesn't include housing and the stock market. Let's listen to that.
A way to measure inflation because it doesn't include food or energy or housing, the real estate market, stock market, so pretty much anything that's anything is excluded.
Anything that's anything is excluded from the core inflation. Did you hear that? Does that sound like a person who's got an MBA degree, who's a decade plus senior analyst, right, experience? It doesn't include anything that's anything, right? Once again, Tom Nash says that core inflation doesn't include energy, food, housing, real estate market, and the stock market. Tom, newsflash, inflation doesn't include the stock market. It doesn't, the stock market is not, that's a completely different situation. Inflation includes things that customers, consumers, and businesses deal with. Goods and services that they purchase, the price of those items. You know why, Tom? Because consumers dictate most of the economy. And by the way, Tom, core inflation does include housing. It does include the real estate market, Tom. Folks, even the typical bozo kid on YouTube will look this stuff up and not make these mistakes. Tom figures he's got you guys so fooled. You're in a cult. You believe everything. He doesn't even have to look up anything. He's just blabbering disinformation. Let's hear that one more time. According to Tom Nash, core CPI doesn't include...
It doesn't include food or energy or housing, real estate market, stock market. So pretty much anything that's anything is excluded.
Anything that's anything is excluded from the core. I mean, this is just shocking to me. Virtually every single claim that comes out of this guy's mouth, I would say 98% of everything that comes out of his mouth, from what I have seen, is inaccurate. That's disturbing and shocking. And it's even more shocking that people actually follow this guy and they don't call him out. I mean, he was even called out on Reddit. But YouTube, no, they got mush for brains and they just accept all the bullshit. Seems like the people that pump out and blabber all the time, just keep pumping out content, people just consume it and accept it. Wow. Folks, it's not quantity, it's quality. And that's the way you should lead your whole life. That leads you to a fruitful life, a successful life. Quality, not quantity.
And speaking about people who know things ahead of time, let's talk about Palantir. So there's a really interesting chart right now circulating on Reddit and on Twitter. In fact, I retweeted it myself, showing you how since the price have started going down from the mid to high 20s in November, all the way down to what we're seeing right now, which is pretty much the DPO price, the percentage of ownership by institutional investors have been going up quite significantly. In fact,
did you all hear that little con artist tactic? Speaking of people who know things in advance, and he's basically saying, you see, I predicted that. I was telling you. Since November, the percentage of institutional investors owning Palantir has gone up by 50%. Nobody gives a flying fuck about the percentage of institutional investors in Palantir. While you've been talking about that nonsense, the stock has fallen by 50%. What they care about is the stock price collapsing. Okay? You're full of shit. You don't know what you're talking about. What you should be focusing on is the insider selling, which is what I've already disclosed previously. This is what you should be reminding people of. I can't show you the shares here, but you can see the value. This is the dollar amount and the date. All these insiders dumped Palantir. You can see a lot of it was November, December 2021. And our friend here, Alex Karp, Tom's mentor, he idolizes this guy. You can see how much he dumped in November alone, 100 million. More than 100 million, actually, right? October, he dumped another 100 million. Did he disappoint us in September? Let's see, well, his 48 million. Oh, no, he didn't. He didn't disappoint us, folks. Another 100 million in September. So September, 100 million. October, 100 million. November, 100 million. Does he tell you about that? No, he pumps Palantir when it's $22 and tells you he wants to buy more. He doesn't have enough money to buy more. How about August? Does he disappoint in August? 71 million. 42 million, so over 110 million in August. Okay. July, 42 million. Another 45 million. So you see that July, 100 million. August, more than 100 million. Right? September, October, November. June, 49 million. Plus 47 million. Alex Karp is he's liquidating looks like 100 million, about 100 million almost every month here. Let's see how far he goes. May, close to 40 and 80, so it's 40 more, right? So almost 80 in May. April, another 42, another 60. There you go. Well, he's pretty consistent. Karp is pretty consistent. He's selling 100 million, about 100 million in most months in 2021. How come Tom Nash isn't telling you about that trend? And his friend, Peter Thiel, and I would have to believe that they're very, very close friends. Peter Thiel is openly gay, and I don't know about Karp, but he seems a little bit maybe like he's gay. Maybe they're lovers. That might explain why Peter Thiel, who funded this company, may have given Karp $2 billion in stock. See Peter Thiel here, 18th of February, dumps $505 million of Palantir. Of course, that was 5 days before Nash came out with his latest video pumping Palantir and telling you how great it was. And that's why the stock collapsed. Nobody wants to buy when the insiders are dumping the hell out of shares. But you see, Tom wants to give you reasons why to buy the stock. Tom, all people care about is you're pumping the hell out of the stock and it's collapsing. Okay? That's all that matters. And let me just mention one more thing about Palantir, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. During this period of time of conflict, military conflict between Russia and Ukraine, and NATO on high alert, so on and so forth, don't you think that Palantir would skyrocket? Right? Isn't this supposed to be somewhat connected with defense and intelligence? Right? Think about that for a second. It's going nowhere. Think about that. Isn't that the big push? Yeah, they're with the government. They help the government to process data and good for intelligence and the CIA. Right? I mean, have you heard those lines? Think about that. It's gone nowhere. Nowhere. Something to think about. Of course, you're not going to hear it from the pumpers like Tom. Tom, it's collapsed by 50% in just a few months. Tom, please stop trying to fool people. Stop trying to manipulate people.
An IPO, there's not any institutionals in it. However, if this trend continues...
Folks, let me just say something. If you have an IPO and there's no... And by the way, Tom, please stop calling it institutionals. Institutional investors. Okay? Not institutionals. That's just terrible grammar. It's terrible. Please, just stop, okay? I'm helping you out here. Folks, if there's no institutional investors in a company that goes public, especially a large cap, it went public, I don't know what it was, 20 billion in public IPO or something. It's been around a long time, and he's saying there was no institutional investors. That's a huge red flag. It almost never happens, I can tell you right now. And I'm not going to get into why. I don't want to educate Tom. But, of course, he didn't tell you that. Tom doesn't know that.
Announced a 20-to-1 split. Yeah, a 20-to-1 split and a massive $10 billion buyback. Now, look, I hate gimmicks, and to me, this thing smells like a gimmick.
Tom hates gimmicks. Tom, your YouTube channel's a gimmick. You've created a gimmick for yourself. Your claims, you're a gimmick. And I tell you what, folks, if there's anybody that can smell a gimmick, it's a gimmicker. You understand? Mr. Nash, with his American flag, not the Putin picture like he had before. It's got the little Wall Street little picture there, the sign, as if he's connected to Wall Street. He's got his University of Michigan shirts to make you think that he went there. As if it matters anyway, but I guess it matters if you're uneducated, you don't have any diplomas or anything, and then you want to kind of boost yourself. I guess from a guy who's sitting in Tel Aviv, pretending to be a guy in America, pretending to love America, pretending to have been an analyst on Wall Street. Yeah, well, if you talk about gimmicks, folks, this is the ultimate gimmick. This guy is... It sounds to me like he's similar to some of these other guys he criticizes, like this Dan Blazarian or whatever. And I would say even Grant Cardone is more credible than this guy. Grant Cardone is clearly a bullshit artist, a con artist, but let me tell you something, at least at the end of the day, Grant Cardone is doing some business. Is he charging crazy fees and to some degree hiding things from people, misleading them, and kind of scamming them to some degree? I think so. But at the end of the day, it's more about his marketing, his deceptive marketing practices, right? He's running a business. Tom Nash, as far as I'm concerned, is much worse than these guys like Grant Cardone. He's much worse. Let's go ahead. Let me close out now and show you here. I want to take you back to this other video I actually did today. And I encourage you to watch the whole video on inflation that Tom did. So I came across something here. I shut the video down because I couldn't bear to listen anymore. It was just making me sick. But I noticed this after the video kept playing on. I wanted to point this out to everyone. Listen to the claim here.
So just solving the monetary issue is not going to help. You have to solve everything. So how do you solve this? Well, number one, the first part of the solution is basically reduce the money supply. You have to do this, and they've started doing this. To their Fed's credit, they've reduced the money supply. We're way, way down lower than where we were just 6 months ago.
You hear that? So he's saying that the Fed has lowered the money supply over the past 6 months. Let's hear that again.
To their Fed's credit, they've reduced the money supply. We're way, way down lower than where we were just 6 months ago.
How anybody could listen to anyone who's so wrong, gets so many things so wrong, and look at his stock analysis, wealth destruction. How you people that listen to this guy, you all need to look in the mirror and you need a reality check. This is from the Federal Reserve. Take a look. M1 money supply. Does it look like it's decreased over the past 6 months? Take a look at a one-year chart. This is a one-year chart. Take a look at a 5-year chart. Let's take a look at the M2. M2 money supply. 1-year chart. Do you see a decline? He said the past 6 months, they've substantially lowered it. It's gone down. 5-year chart. Folks, how can an analyst get this wrong? I'm not sure how anyone, I don't even think, this is bizarre how wrong this guy is, how much bullshit. He's completely full of shit. Let's take a look at the M3. 1 year, 5 year. Okay. I mean, there you go, folks. There's no one out there, including Tom, that can prove to me that this guy has any credibility. He has zero. Just from this discussion on inflation alone, he has zero credibility. When you add up everything, wow, you're talking about a major scam artist. I can't believe that you have any valid credentials as an analyst based upon, and I have just begun to look at your videos, Tom. That's all I've got for today, folks. Have a good day, good evening, good morning.